Hello everyone and welcome to today's video. Today we have a very interesting conversation here with Republican Iowa 3rd District Representative Zach Nunn reportedly considering to run for governor after he initially said a few months ago that he would not be running. Now all expectations are he could potentially be joining this governor's race. So this is very interesting here, not something that you see too often. So the backstory here is that for a while, a lot of Republicans in Iowa were waiting on the Attorney General of Iowa, Brenna Bird, to make a decision for if she was going to run for governor of Iowa in 2026. And with Brenna Bird officially announcing a few days ago, now a few weeks ago, that she would not be running for governor, it opened up the door for other Republicans to jump in this race, including U.S. Representative Zach Nunn, who, as the time I'm recording this, which is Thursday, July 10th, just for reference here, the expectation is she should be entering this race any day now. So this is very interesting, as Nunn previously said he was not going to run for governor. Now with Bird not running, it looks like he's interested in potentially getting into this race. I also saw some reports on X that said Zach Nunn was meeting with representatives at the White House as well. So not only is he looking to enter this race, he could also be looking to get the president's endorsement as well in this Republican primary. And this is very interesting because 3 Republicans are currently running: Eddie Andrews, a state representative, Randy Feenstra, a U.S. representative from the 4th District, and Brad Sherman, former state representative. With State Senator Mike Boussalet, a state senator also forming an exploratory committee, and Bobby Kaufman and Amy Sinclair, both publicly expressing interest. Amy Sinclair, the president of the Iowa Senate, and Bobby Kaufman, a state representative. But without a doubt, Zach Nunn entering this race right now makes it a lot more interesting, seeing as U.S. Representative Randy Feenstra from the 4th District is also currently in this race. So if Zach Nunn were to enter this race, that would mean both the 4th and 3rd District would have their incumbent Republican representatives not running for re-election heading into the 2026 midterms. Now, for the 4th District, Randy Feenstra's district is pretty reliably red, so this wouldn't be too much of a concern. And the Cook PVI map here, the 4th District, for Feenstra is Republican plus 15. That is a safe Republican district. But for Nunn's, it's only Republican plus 2 for the 2025 Cook PVI. So Zach Nunn running for governor in Iowa could be actually a very, very good strategic move for the Democrats at targeting a very close House race. Obviously, Zach Nunn is willing to risk that and try to become the next governor of the state of Iowa. Maybe he thinks he's a better chance at, for sure, if he gets the primary, winning the general election in Iowa for governor than he does winning re-election for the House. It's possible, but it's a very interesting move. On the Democratic side of things, we also know that a handful of Democrats are running, chief among them Rob Sand, the Iowa Auditor of State, the only currently statewide elected Democrat in the state of Iowa, is in this race. He's been touted online by several Democrats and even some independents as a very strong candidate. So he's someone that a lot of people are paying attention to nationwide and seeing what he can do. Cook Political Report has this race listed as lean Republican. Inside Elections has it as a battleground. Sadler Crystal Ball has it as likely Republican. And Race to the White House has it as a toss-up. This is really fascinating. If this Republican primary does end up being Feenstra versus Zach Nunn, then if President Trump decides to make an endorsement in this race, it could be a very, very pivotal and decisive endorsement in this race. It's also worth noting Matthew Whitaker, U.S. Ambassador to NATO and nominee for State Treasurer in 2002, candidate for Senate in 2014, is also a very close President Trump ally as well. He is also listed as a potential candidate. It's not out of the possibility that Nunn jumps in this race without the endorsement of President Trump, and then Matthew Whitaker may decide he wants to run, and then it would be Whitaker versus Feenstra versus Nunn, and then President Trump may throw his support behind Whitaker. Or he may do a co-endorsement like he did in Arizona with Karen Taylor Robson and Andy Biggs, where he has 2 people running that he likes. So this could get very interesting in this Republican primary in Iowa. Whereas on the Democratic side, even though there are 4 Democrats running, we know more likely than not that Rob Sand is likely going to be the Democratic nominee and not have too much of a time in that primary, which does give him the opportunity to fundraise a lot of money, pivot for the general election, and put all of his eggs in that basket. It is also worth noting that Randy Feenstra currently has the endorsement of U.S. Senator Joni Ernst and U.S. Representative Marinette Miller Meeks, both of which are up for election in 2026, and both of them could conceivably maybe be in trouble, Marinette Miller Meeks more so than Joni Ernst, but both of them could conceivably be in trouble in getting reelected in 2026. A bunch of Republicans have also ruled out running. I don't expect any of them going back on their decision to not run for this race. But Zach Nunn potentially running again could get very interesting. As for some recent election results in the state of Iowa in 2022, Kim Reynolds won re-election by 18.5%. Now, her approval ratings are a lot less popular in 2025 and 2026 than they were in 2022. So if she ran for a third term, which she was eligible to do, she would not have won by 18.5%. It would have been a much, much more closer election, possibly even more so along the lines of what we saw in 2018, where Reynolds only won by 2.7%. Now, on the presidential side, Iowa voted for Donald Trump by 13.2%. In 2024, a likely Republican win. 2020 voted for Trump by 8.2%, another likely Republican win. In 2016, 9.4% for Trump, another likely Republican win. On the Senate side of things, very similarly, Chuck Grassley won by 12.2%. In 2022, 2020, Joni Ernst won by 6.5%. So I do fully expect Iowa is going to be more competitive on the governor level, but I do think the Republicans certainly have an advantage going into this race right now. However, my most recent prediction, I did have the race starting out as lean Republican. Now, I did have it being Randy Feenstra versus Rob Sand, but I had it lean Republican, meaning more than 1%, but under 5% margin of victory, because the last time in 2018, where it was a Democratic wave, a Democratic midterm year, the Democrats did very well in Iowa. And I think depending on how President Trump and the Trump administration is doing and being viewed by the American people, it's certainly very possible this race could get very close. It also is dependent on if tariffs and how that's all going come 2026. A state like Iowa is certainly going to get hurt by tariffs a lot more than some other states might. So that could have a very important role on this as well. So Iowa, I'm starting it off right now as lean Republican. As always, these are subject to change as more political information and more data and more candidates entering this race changes. But for right now, I have Iowa starting out as lean Republican and one of the close races to watch for as one of the most possible Democratic flips for 2026. Now, looking at Iowa and its map from 2024, we see a lot of smaller counties here that all voted red, but we also saw some very close counties as well, like Scott County, where Davenport, Iowa is. President Trump won it very narrowly, 51-47 versus Kamala Harris. We also saw some narrow Harris counties as well in Blackhawk County, 50-48.8. Cedar Rapids, Lynn County, this is 54-44 for Harris over Trump. Johnson County, 68-30. Des Moines, Polk County went 55-44 for Harris versus Trump. So for the governor's race, we're looking at these blue areas and looking at what the percentages are. If Davenport, Scott County, this area will likely be going Democrat in 2026 if Rob Sand, the Democrat, is winning this race or overperforming, looking to see Scott County go blue. Another important thing to note is we're probably looking at a lot of these rural red counties here. A lot of these could potentially be in play of going blue in a very good election for the Democrats as well. Just to show you what it looked like, here's what Iowa was in 2024, all these red counties. Let's go back to the last time Iowa went blue, which was 2012. Look how many more blue counties there were when Barack Obama defeated Mitt Romney in the state by about 6%. Like Boone County, Story County, Marshall, Tama, Polk, Jasper, Polishek. You can go up to Buchanan or Fayette, Chickasaw, Floyd, Sarasota, Worth. All these areas going likely Democratic. Now come to 2016, most of them, if not all of them, are either safe or likely Republican. 2024, they're even more safe or likely Republican. So in the governor's race, those areas, if they're going blue on election night, that could be indicating that Rob Sand is performing much better than expected in that governor's race. If the map is resembling what President Trump did in 2024, whoever the Republican is, whether it's Feenstra or Nunn, is likely winning without too much of a problem. I hope you enjoyed this video. Make sure to like and subscribe if you did. Leave a comment below telling me your thoughts, any questions you have, and any other future races you'd like to see me cover. Also, make sure to hit subscribe as I post several new videos every single day that you're not going to want to miss like this one. Thank you so much for watching. I hope to see you in a future video.